Wow, Arsenal are in the cup final. They're in the Carabao Cup final thanks to a goal from Kai Havertz, sending Arsenal straight through to the final. It's a game that you felt Arsenal would win because, they had the advantage going through, coming into the second leg of the tie. But I just felt Chelsea under Rosinha would probably put up more of a challenge and, send everything forward. But unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. Kai Havertz knocking out his old club. Sometimes in football, that's what happens. Your old players will come back and haunt you. And he's done that in this game today. The Arsenal faithful are going to be extremely happy. It's a new era. It's the Arteta era. And it's looking like a victory for the Arsenal. They are going to Wembley. The fans have waited, for almost 6 years? For almost 6 years for a Wembley final. And here they are again. In the final, in the Carabao Cup. I know a lot of people will say it's a Mickey Mouse Cup, but at the end of the day, you have to win the competitions that you're in. And let's not forget that Arsenal are charging forward on 4 fronts. Make no mistake about it. They're in the cup final for the Carabao Cup. They are still in the FA Cup. They are still leading the way in the Premier League. I think they're about, 6-7 points clear. And nobody's catching them at the moment. And again, in the Champions League, they've been the most impressive side. They topped the table in the Champions League. So Arsenal could do the unthinkable. I'm sure you Arsenal supporters out there, you would be thinking to yourself, okay, you may not want to jump the gun too soon. However, you've got to face the facts. They've been one of the better sides in global football this season. I don't know what's happened. Maybe the other teams, could we argue and say some of the other established teams aren't doing what they're supposed to do? Hence why Arsenal are in the position they're in. Or could we say and give credit to Arteta, the way he's kind of, galvanized his side and he's kind of made the right signings, the right acquisitions to kind of bolster that squad because they are super impressive. You just look at Arsenal bench and you think to yourself, who else is going to come on? You've still got your Sakas, your Martinellis, you've got your Eze, you've still got your Odegaards. There is strength in depth in that Arsenal side. You've got Jesus up front. You've got Gyökeres as well. You've got Havertz. The list just goes on and on and on. And let's not forget how solid they are at the back. You've got the 2-man mountains at the back there, Saliba and Gabriel. And they are doing phenomenal. Arsenal by far have been the best side in the Premier League. And mark my words, I wouldn't be surprised if they go on to win at least 2 trophies. At least 2 trophies. They can win the Premier League. It's in their hands. It's theirs to lose. City would have to put on they'd have to put up a phenomenal streak of a phenomenal winning streak. They'd have to go on a mad run for them to be able to kind of to catch Arsenal. Villa as well would have to put on they'd have to play out their skin to compete. In the Champions League, it could go any way because it's knockout football, isn't it? So it can go any way. It depends on what team turns up. But it's a competition that Arsenal have been very, very strong in this season. So you can just imagine that. Imagine Arsenal winning 4 trophies this season. That would be crazy. But, credit to them, credit to what they've done. They've stuck to their task. And sometimes when the stars align, it just may be your moment. It just may be your moment. Are we entering the new Arsenal era, the Arteta era? Will this be the start of more things to come with trophies being won back to back to back to back? You never know. You never know. But one thing's for sure, I think they've got it right this season. They've brought in the right players. They've addressed areas where they felt they needed, they needed talent. And they needed that extra boost, and they've done that very well. The way they've kind of set out their squad this season has been very, very impressive. So hats off to Arsenal. Congratulations for getting to the final. I'm sure it'll be worth the watch. And you never know. You just never know what happens in a cup final. It can go anyway. It's always 50-50 in a cup final, but we'll see. Commiserations to Chelsea. Chelsea, they're still a young squad, pretty much, and they've obviously got a new manager as well, so they'll take some time to build, but I'm sure that Chelsea side will come back and they'll be competing for top honours again. But you just got to give these managers time. You've got to give the players some time to gel, but we'll see. But the day The night belongs to Arsenal. So congratulations, Arsenal. And yeah, we'll see what the final holds. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.